Horns up and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbangers Kitchen. My name is Sahil, I'm a heavy metal musician. And I'm also the author of the recipe book called Keto Life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another 3-ingredient keto meal plan. This is the second video in my 3-ingredient meal plan series, and if you haven't seen the earlier one, click here on the I button and watch that video. Now, the current global situation has inspired this series because a lot of people are unable to get their regular keto staples and we all have to make do with limited ingredients. So I thought to myself, well, what better than a 3-ingredient meal plan? So this meal plan has your breakfast, lunch, a snack and dinner, and each recipe has only 3 ingredients. Obviously, I'm not counting salt, pepper, cooking fat and things like water. Anyway, I'm also going to write out a blog post as I do with all these videos where I give you suggestions, tips, tricks and even food substitutions, because a lot of you may not have access to certain ingredients, some of you may not eat certain foods, and all that information is written out on the blog post which is on headbangerskitchen.com. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber, let's get on with the meal plan. So for breakfast, ladies and gentlemen, I'm thinking of sour cream and onions. I'm pretty sure all of you have eaten some crisps, chips, wafers, whatever you call them in your country, with the sour cream and onion flavor, and that's what I want to replicate in the breakfast dish. So we are going to be making a delicious sour cream and onion omelette for breakfast. And before I show you the recipe, I have a trivia question for you. In the Headbangers Kitchen Flawless Chocolate Cake video, what brand of crisps is in the background? Let me know the answer in the comments below. No looking at the video, but if you do want to look at the video, click here on the I button and get the answer to that question. Anyway, here's the recipe. So for this recipe, we are going to need 2 whole eggs, a red onion and some sour cream. Now the first thing I'm going to do is chop up the red onion, and we are not going to use the entire onion, we're just going to use a small part of it. Maybe about 15 to 20 grams of red onion is all we really need. Of course, you can also use a white onion, no problem. You can even use a spring onion, that's fine. Anyway, just finely chop up that red onion and then let's get on with the eggs. So now I'm going to get a bowl and I'm going to crack both the eggs into the bowl. Anyway, I'm going to season the eggs now with some salt and some black pepper. Then in goes the diced red onion and finally the sour cream. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we've just got to beat it as we always do with eggs. Now you want to make sure that the sour cream is at room temperature, otherwise it will not blend with the eggs well. And also you can use as many eggs as you like. I find that 2 eggs is enough for me. Anyway, once those eggs are beaten, it's time to cook them. So to cook the eggs, I'm going to get a pan on the stove and I'm using a non-stick pan, and I'm going to heat up some avocado oil. And you can use any keto approved cooking fat that you like. Once that oil is hot, we're going to pour in the beaten eggs and we're just going to let it cook. Or you can be like me and try and be all fancy and chef-like and do all sorts of funny things in the pan. I'm basically sort of creating egg curds by moving some of the beaten egg and allowing it to hit the hot pan, and you can see it, just watch it. I'm playing with my food, which is not always a bad thing, you know. Now I think this is how a French omelette is made, where they sort of have all these lovely egg curds, but they don't have any color on their omelette. However, we here in India don't mind a little bit of color on our omelettes. So anyway, I'm going to cook that now, and once it's done on one side, I'm going to fold the omelette, and as you can see, it's got a lovely golden brown color on it. And I'm just going to let it cook for maybe 15 seconds more, and that's it. My egg is done and ready. So I'm going to get it off the heat, and now I'm going to serve myself that omelette in a plate And ladies and gentlemen, that looks so good. Oh yeah. And that's it. Our sour cream and onion omelette is ready. But I can't let you go without digging into that omelette. And yup, oh man, that looks lovely, nice, fluffy, and I can't wait to dig in. But I won't because I have to shoot the rest of this video. Haha. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. So that's your breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. Now on to lunch. For lunch, it's another delicious and simple recipe. It is going to be some chicken cooked in a creamy mustard sauce. So for this recipe, you are going to need some chicken, some mustard, and some heavy whipping cream. Now I'm just using boneless and skinless chicken thighs because that is what was available, but you can use any cut of chicken, pork, beef, or even fish to make this recipe. The mustard I'm using is whole grain mustard because that's what I have available at home. You can use any mustard that you have lying around. The first thing I'm going to do is season the chicken with some salt and some black pepper, and I'm going to make sure to season it on both sides. And once again, this is a 3-ingredient recipe, so I'm using just salt and pepper, but you can add other seasonings based on what is available in your pantry. Now to cook the chicken, I'm going to get my pan on the stove and I'm going to heat up some avocado oil. Once the oil is nice and hot, in goes my chicken into the pan. And now you're going to cook the chicken for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side till it is completely cooked through. Now obviously cooking time will vary a bit based on how big the chicken pieces are, but generally 3 minutes to 4 minutes for a boneless thigh is enough. Anyway, once the chicken has cooked on one side, I'm going to flip it over now and let it finish cooking on the other side. And just look at the beautiful color on that chicken, golden brown, and this is going to be so delicious. Anyway, once it's done cooking, I'm going to take that chicken and set it aside. And I'm going to now deglaze the pan with about a tablespoon of water. Then I'm going to add in my mustard and I'm going to give it all a good mix. And you want to make sure you scrape out all the brown bits that are stuck to the bottom of the pan because that is a whole lot of chicken flavor. That's what we call the fond in cooking. So give it all a good mix, make sure you get all those brown bits off. And then ladies and gentlemen, in goes our heavy whipping cream. And yes, you can also use sour cream, you can also use cream cheese, no problem. Anyway, give it all a good mix and make sure you taste your sauce for seasoning. Mine needed a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, so I added that in and it was perfect. And make sure you also pour in the resting juices from the chicken that collect in the plate. Anyway, that's it ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to cook this sauce very long, just a minute more and take it off the heat and it's done. Now to serve myself, I'm going to put a little bit of sauce at the bottom of the plate and be all fancy. Then I'm going to place my chicken on top of that sauce and make sure you pour over any resting juices that are left in the plate because that stuff is flavor. And then ladies and gentlemen, the final step, the crowning glory. Pour that sauce right over the chicken. Oh yeah! And that's it ladies and gentlemen, your chicken in a creamy mustard sauce is ready and it looks so good. But as always, I can't let you go without cutting into that chicken and showing you a perfectly cooked cross section. And of course, don't forget to dip that chicken into that sauce and enjoy. Oh yeah! So that was lunch ladies and gentlemen, and how simple was that recipe. But if you have noticed, we haven't had any vegetables so far. So for a snack, we are going to cook up some mushrooms, some delicious garlic and butter mushrooms. Oh yeah! So to make this recipe, you are going to need some mushrooms, a large clove of garlic and some butter. Now the first thing I'm going to do is prepare the mushrooms by cutting them into quarters. However, you can cook them whole, you can cut them into halves, and you can even slice them. It's completely up to you how you want to cut your mushrooms. I prefer to have them in quarters because they are bite size but yet meaty enough to enjoy. Anyway, once you're done cutting the mushrooms, it's on to the next step. I'm going to take that large clove of garlic now and I'm going to smash it with the side of my knife, and then I'm going to chop it up nice and fine. And of course you can use it whole, you can also mince the garlic, it's completely up to you. I do love little bits of deep fried burnt garlic or brown garlic or whatever you call it. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's get cooking. Now I'm going to get my pan on the stove and I'm going to add the butter into the pan and let the butter start to melt. And while that butter is melting, I'm also going to add in the garlic, because I want that garlic and butter to infuse and that garlic will cook with the butter. And I'm just going to stop talking and let you watch that garlic and butter cook together. The butter is going to froth up and the garlic is going to slowly but surely start to turn golden brown. So anyway, just let that cook. And once your garlic has gotten nice and golden brown, then I'm going to add in my mushrooms. And before doing anything, I'm going to season the mushrooms now with some salt and some black pepper. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give it all a good mix. Now I'm going to be cooking this on a high heat because the mushrooms are now going to release water, and then we want to cook these till the water dries up. So just let those mushrooms cook. Obviously make sure you stir them, give them a good flip now and then, because you obviously don't want anything to burn, especially that garlic. Because what's happening is the garlic can go from brown to burnt very quickly. But when we added the mushrooms, the temperature of the pan drops, the mushrooms release their water, thus preventing the garlic from burning. Anyway, just cook those mushrooms. Just cook those mushrooms till that water evaporates, and you will see the mushrooms start to caramelize now. And you just want to cook these till the mushrooms have a lovely golden brown color on it. In fact, let me show you one. So just have a look at that mushroom. You can see the lovely golden color on it, and that's pretty much it. That's how you want the mushrooms to be, so you get that lovely flavor on it, and that's it. Once it's done, take it off the heat. Now all you got to do is serve yourself those mushrooms in a bowl, and that's it. Your sauteed garlic mushrooms are ready, and they are going to be delicious and buttery and garlicky. Oh yeah, those look pretty good if you ask me. So ladies and gentlemen, that was your snack for the day. And now on to dinner, our final meal. We're just gonna have some delicious ground beef cooked up in a tomato sauce topped with some sour cream. So for this recipe, you are going to need some ground beef, some tomato sauce or tomato puree, and some sour cream. Now for this recipe, I'm just using some store-bought tomato sauce / pasta sauce. This is an olive flavored one. You can use whatever is available at your local supermarket. Now store-bought sauces normally do have some added sugar, and the one that I'm using is about 4 net carbs per 100 grams, which is absolutely fine for me. However, you can make your own sauce or puree at home if you like. It's completely up to you. Now to cook my beef, I'm going to get my frying pan on the stove and I'm going to heat up some avocado oil. Now as always, you can use any keto approved cooking fat of your choice. Once that oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add in my ground beef. And I'm going to make sure that I mix it and spread it around the pan. You want to make sure that you break up the meat. You don't want big lumps of meat. Now I'm going to season the beef with some salt and some black pepper. Now since this is a 3-ingredient recipe, I'm just using salt and pepper, but you feel free to use anything that you have in your pantry like paprika or cayenne pepper, maybe some cumin, maybe some dried herbs. It's completely up to you. Anyway, you just want to cook that meat, and that meat is going to release a lot of water now. You want to cook out all that water. We want to cook out that water and dry up the meat so that it starts to caramelize and get some color. Now normally when it comes to ground beef, I recommend you get 80-20, which is 80% lean meat and 20% fat. However, you can use whatever beef is available in your supermarket. In fact, I am using lean beef, so mine is probably 95% lean meat and only 5% fat because that is what was available. Anyway, cook that beef till the liquid has all dried off, and at that point you want to add in your tomato sauce or your pasta sauce or whatever you're calling that sauce. In fact, you could just puree some plain tomatoes and put it in as well. Anyway, give it all a good mix, and now you don't really need to cook this for very long because the sauce is already pre-cooked. Obviously, if you're using fresh tomatoes or a fresh puree, you might need to cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes at least. And if you feel like the tomato sauce is not enough, you can add a little bit more. And if you'd like your beef and tomato sauce to be more soupy or more liquid, you can add some water, or you can cook it off even further to dry it out a bit more. Anyway, I just gave that one final good mix, and I think my beef and tomato sauce was ready, so I just took it off the heat. Then all you gotta do is serve yourself a nice bowl full of that delicious beef in tomato sauce. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the final step, which is to top it off with some sour cream, cause you know, it just tastes so good. Anyway folks, our beef and tomato sauce with sour cream is ready, and it looks so good. And of course, before you eat it, do not forget to mix that cream into the ground beef so that you get creaminess in every bite. Oh yeah, that looks so good. And that's it folks, that was your 3-ingredient keto meal plan for the day. And like I said earlier, please read the blog post on Headbangers Kitchen for all the additional information. And before I go, I just want to let you know that we have these awesome Headbangers Kitchen t-shirts. Link to order them is in the video description box just below this video. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber out of me. I will see you on the next episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Cheers and keep cooking. Hey folks, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to Headbangers Kitchen for more awesome keto recipes. Also hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I upload a new video. Anyway, if you want another 3-ingredient meal plan, click here and watch my last video, or click here and watch some of my music. Listen actually, why would you watch? Well, it's a video so you can watch it and listen to it. Ha 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 ha. Awkward.